I've always loved crossovers, whether it be a crossover game or a crossover movie. I just seem to have a soft spot for them. People often debate about which crossovers would be coolest, but personally I've always loved the idea that Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon would get a crossover. Now wouldn't that be awesome?
Around the time Spyro A Hero's Tale was released, Vivendi Universal entrusted Vicarious Visions with the Spyro and Crash licenses. Unfortunately, by this point, both franchises were beginning to become mediocre, but at least they hadn't reached the point where Crash looks like an annoying douche and where Spyro looks like the horrific result of a dragon and pug crossbreed. But I digress. Vicarious Visions produced 2 Game Boy Advance games which starred these 2 heroes, known as Crash Purple and Spyro Orange. Those names kinda remind me of another handheld franchise, but I can't seem to remember which one. Just to clarify, I'll be reviewing Spyro Orange, because I love Spyro. Need I say more? They both hit the shelves in 2004 and fans everywhere rejoiced at the... Oh. This does not bode well. I guess we had better get started then. Spyro Orange, the Cortex Conspiracy. As we can see, Spyro is hovering and Sparks clearly had too much coffee this morning. The story starts off with Ripto and Cortex teaming up to get rid of both Crash and Spyro. It doesn't explain why they're in the same universe, they just are. Well, it's a good start. Then Spyro is told about a load of portals opening, and he is tasked with taking care of the monsters. And you know, Sparks is still caffeinated to hell and back. From the looks of things, this is obviously a 2D Spyro game. There are enemies and gems scattered around, with really nice environments to explore. Surely, it can't be that bad! Let's have a look at how Spyro controls, shall we? Remember how in 3D Spyro games you could charge and glide? Did you like those abilities? Yes, because neither exist in this game. Spyro can move, jump and flame, although some other moves are taught later, such as double jumps and head bashes. But without charging and gliding, it doesn't feel much like Spyro. But I'll let it slide for the time being. Well, so far this isn't too bad. Well, let's just go see what Hunter has to say. Once unlocked, these portals will take you to a mini-game. Wait, this has to be a sick joke. You can't just make an entire Spyro game based on mini-games, that's just wrong! I guess, without further ado, that we had better get started. Cars. Are you serious? Since when did Spyro have anything to do with jeeps with flipping artillery cannons attached to them? I mean, letting hedgehogs drive motorcycles is bad enough, but this? Really? This minigame is fairly easy, but if you mess up, you're gonna have to try again from the beginning. Unfortunately, these minigames aren't even short, so instead of being challenging, they're just really tedious and boring. Ah, here we go, end of the road. You did it. well, if you insist. Whatever, next minigame. And Spyro's in a tank. I can't even joke about this, it's just stupid. Look at this fire rate, it's simply ridiculous. And once again, this minigame drags on and on. Great. Every time you complete a minigame, you receive a small number of gems and a trading card? I assume this is some kind of social interaction multiplayer thingy, but it serves no purpose in the game whatsoever. And considering Moneybags, the shopkeeper, only sells these cards, this makes both the shop and the whole card system redundant. The other minigames in this area involve button mashing, bouncing balls, flying, and throwing Molotovs. You know, the true spirit of a Spyro game. After defeating all the challenges, the boss room opens. How exciting! Can you hear how excited I am? I swear I really am enthusiastic about this. Apparently the first boss is Crash, and we have to beat him with Molotovs. This is just how I imagine the situation. 2 gaming legends meet each other for the first time, and they're tossing Molotov cocktails at each other. I'm just utterly speechless. How can you mess up this golden opportunity? Just how? Whatever, I just defeated Crash, and now apparently we're working together. Yeah, okay, that's awesome. After this, I unlocked a new world. Even though this game is lacking in terms of gameplay and overall fun, you can't deny the fact that there is some awesome music. In fact, the music is probably one of the only good things about this game. The graphics in this game aren't actually too shabby, and they remind me of Donkey Kong Country, with pre-rendered sprites that give the illusion of 3D. It's something that redeems this mess of a game, but only slightly. Each world has 5 minigames, and considering these overworlds aren't straightforward, it's incredibly confusing. All the levels in older Spyro games' overworlds are easy to find and can be seen from a distance. This game only shows a portion of the screen, so most of your playtime in this will likely be from just looking for that last damned level to try and beat that world. Not to mention, the platforming in the overworld is a little fiddly, so you'll often die. And when you do die, you get taken back to the last minigame you completed. So you'll have to make your way over to where you were again. Ugh. One minigame introduced in the second world is this magnety, walkery, thingy, gamey thing, I don't know. And it's frustrating. I sure hope this one doesn't appear too often. Oh my god, did I just incinerate a scientist? He could have been a hero. He could have cured many diseases. He could have had family. What have I done? Alright, have it your way then. The second world's boss is Crush and Gulp, who were bosses in Spyro 2. Now, in Spyro 2, they were fun to play against, if not a little tricky. Luckily, this is no exception. This boss fight adds a little bit of the original Spyro trilogy fun into this game, and this fight is by far the most fun I had. If only the entire game was this good. In between Worlds 2 and 3, we discover that the Professor from the Spyro games and Coco from the Crash games have been captured, and just look at how Spyro reacts! This isn't how he would react to hearing bad news at all!
Oh my god, dude, the zombie apocalypse has started. That can't be good.
Lest we forget, Crash looks as if he has no idea what is happening. Yay, another world, woo. I actually stopped caring about half an hour ago. The minigames at this point start to become more difficult, and not in a good way. They just become more cheap and frustrating, and it's probably more fun to smash my head against my desk than playing these monstrosities. Remember how the second boss was fun? Don't get used to it, because this next boss is pretty boring. Oh good, we finally made it to an area in the Crash universe. It sure took long enough. And once again, the cycle of minigames and trying to find minigames repeats. Although this time, the boss is Cortex. This is gonna be good. The main villain of the Crash series is pitted against Spyro. And it's an alternate version of my least favourite minigame. Fine, have it your way, we'll play your stupid game. What the? Did Cortex just get stuck? Am I actually incapable of killing him right now? This right here shows quality. A recycled minigame and they can't even get it right. Oh look, now my shots are going through him. This is clearly a polished game. Finally, we did it! Although Cortex isn't beaten yet. We have only one more world to go. We can do this, not long now. So, where are the minigames? Huh? Maybe we've got to talk to the Professor first. We can only unlock the final boss by beating every minigame 3 times? No, you can't do this, that's just, no.
If it's not immediately obvious, I've had enough of this game. Some might say that they were only trying to make a little spin-off game, but I would argue that they didn't even try at all. Through all the boring mini-games, stupid story and tedious pacing, it's obvious why this game was so poorly received. Something awesome could have been created from a crossover of these two franchises, but you know, some things just aren't meant to be. And at least this review's over now.